Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all that noise and get to the stuff that really matters. Today, we're diving into something pretty widespread: metabolic syndrome. And we're looking at a really interesting 2025 study. It's from BMC Public Health by Nofal and colleagues. They asked this fascinating question. Could an ancient practice actually hold a key for this very modern health problem? Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, metabolic syndrome, or METS, a lot of people might have heard of it. Simply put, it's when you have this group of risk factors together. We're talking high blood pressure, high triglycerides, extra weight around the middle, central obesity, and low levels of that HDL, the good cholesterol.
Right, the cluster effect. And why is it such a big deal?
Well, its significance is huge, honestly. Having METS basically doubles your risk of developing cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and strokes, and also type 2 diabetes. And we're seeing it more and more across the globe. It seems strongly linked to, the typical Western diet and lifestyle.
Okay, so usually the advice is change your lifestyle, right? Diet, exercise.
Exactly. That's the standard recommendation.
But that can be tough. I mean, healthier diets aren't always cheap or easy to access, depending on where you live. Did this study explore something different?
It did. Absolutely. That's the core of it. They looked at intermittent Islamic fasting. Now, the study defined this specific practice as fasting 2 days a week, Mondays and Thursdays, plus 3 specific days in the middle of the lunar month. That's the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Interesting. So not daily fasting.
No, intermittent. And the potential appeal here, as the researchers noted, is that it could be, cost-effective. It doesn't rely on buying special foods, and it's culturally familiar to many populations.
Makes sense. So how did they set up the study to test this idea?
Right, so it was a randomized controlled trial, which is a strong study design. They had 54 patients, all between 30 and 45 years old, and all diagnosed with metabolic syndrome. They split them into 2 groups. One group just got the standard lifestyle modification advice diet exercise. The other group got that same lifestyle advice, plus they followed the intermittent Islamic fasting schedule.
Okay, so one group with standard advice, the other adding this specific fasting. They ran it for 6 months, you said.
That's right, 6 months.
And here's where it gets really interesting, I bet. What happened? Were the results different between the groups?
Oh, definitely. The differences were quite significant, actually. The group that combined the fasting with lifestyle changes, they showed much better improvements compared to the group doing lifestyle changes alone.
Better in what ways specifically?
Okay, so statistically significant improvements. They saw a better reduction in weight and in waist circumference, that central obesity measure. Also, better blood pressure numbers, both systolic and diastolic. Their fasting blood glucose levels were significantly lower too. And importantly, their lipid profile improved: lower triglycerides, lower total cholesterol, and critically, an increase in HDL, that good cholesterol we mentioned.
Wow, those are pretty comprehensive improvements across the board. So what's the thinking behind why this specific fasting pattern might work so well? What are the mechanisms?
Yeah, what's fascinating here is the proposed physiology. During the fasting periods, the body naturally shifts towards burning fat for energy instead of glucose. That helps with weight management. But it seems to go beyond just calories. They suggest improved insulin sensitivity, which is key for blood sugar control. Also, reduced inflammation markers. And interestingly, potentially positive changes in the gut microbiome, the bacteria in our gut. These mechanisms together paint a more holistic picture than simply eating less overall.
So it's not just about restricting calories on those fasting days.
That seems to be the implication, yes. Connecting this to the bigger picture, this study really underscores how traditional practices, when you actually test them rigorously with science, might offer really accessible and effective health strategies, especially when you combine them, like here, with modern lifestyle advice.
It does make you think, doesn't it, about what other traditional knowledge could be validated. Now, were there any limitations the researchers mentioned? No study's perfect.
Sure, they were upfront about that. It was a single-center study, meaning done in one location, which can sometimes limit generalizability. And they noted that 6 months, while a decent period, might not be long enough to see if the effects are sustained long-term. But even with those points, the findings themselves are pretty promising.
Right. Acknowledged limitations, but still strong initial results.
Okay.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the key takeaway seems clear. Adding the specific pattern of intermittent Islamic fasting to standard lifestyle changes looks like it offers real, significant benefits for managing metabolic syndrome. It's a great example of how looking at traditional wisdom through a scientific lens can open up new and, importantly, accessible avenues for health. It leaves me wondering, and maybe you too, what stands out to you about how cultural practices might contribute to our health in ways we haven't fully appreciated yet?